Hi, and welcome to week 3, Understanding Old Testament Narrative, part 2. Now, in our first assignments on narrative last week, in week 2, we really began to look at God's use in inspiring authors to tell us narratives about key figures in the Bible. This week, you're going to do your own narrative analysis as we build on that skill. So this week, I want you to analyze the narrative components of plot, dialogue, time, and characterization in a narrative text, and to create a personal interpretive methodology for biblical historical narrative, and at the same time, analyze the sacrifice of Isaac and apply the hermeneutical meaning to a contemporary situation. So I'm wanting you to analyze the sacrifice of Isaac narrative using plot, dialogue, time, and characterization. And then I'm wanting you to begin to really look at how do you take this hermeneutical or exegetical understanding and apply it to a contemporary application. So in assignment 3.1, which is a narrative analysis, applying the information you learned in Folkelman's book, complete a 4-page narrative analysis of Genesis 22, 1 to 24. Now, by a 4-page paper, I'm wanting a really in-depth analysis of that passage. I think the easiest way for you to create the paper is to organize it around attributes of dialogue. So analyze the dialogue, analyze the plot, and then in another section, analyze characters. I think that's the easiest way to begin your paper, and then to move into a discussion section that might be a page and a half, bringing in outside research and discussion into that passage, bringing it all together into what you believe God intended us to learn from that passage. Be sure to include a discussion of various aspects of plot, character, time, dialogue, etc. Please note the example of narrative analysis provided in the course lecture entitled The Use of Plot, Character Development, Dialogue in Narrative Text should be able to help you in this assignment. Second, we have a discussion post, and I want you to explain the purpose of the test in Genesis 22, which begins, after these things God tested Abraham. So we know right off the bat in this passage that what follows is a test. The narrative concludes with, "For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Well, if you take this at face value, it says that God is testing Abraham, and that God didn't know the outcome until after the test was complete, and that God understood that, in fact, Abraham did have faith. So this sounds like God didn't know whether Abraham would sacrifice his son or not. In your opinion, and that means using outside research to inform your opinion and analysis, what is the purpose of the test of Abraham? Did God know the outcome in advance? Be sure to support your answer with academic research, meaning from the reading and outside research, and biblical support. So there's 2 parts to this. The first part, which might be the easier part, did God know the outcome in advance? If so, why? And if not, why not? But just as importantly, if not more importantly, because that first part's kind of easy, what was the purpose of the test? What did we as believers come out the other side knowing? What did Abraham come out the other side knowing? What did Isaac come out the other side knowing? So I want an in-depth discussion of the purpose for Genesis 22. As always, your initial posts are due on Friday at midnight, Central Standard Time, with ongoing engagement and discussion over the weekend. And I think most of the class is doing a good job engaging in discussion. There are still others that I feel really can improve in this area. This engaging in discussion, while it may seem simplistic, is the way for the class to get to know each other and begin to explore some of these theological themes a bit deeper. And so if you haven't engaged in discussion, there's still time. This is a good week to jump in and really start to talk to your fellow classmates. As always, put your name in the file name of assignments. The grading program has been fixed, so I'm able to make notes on your paper through Box, which is a grading program that Moody uses with Blackboard. So be sure to look at your papers, because I'll make comments as I go through and read. But it's still a helpful idea to put your name in the file name, just in case I have to download it. As always, call or email me with any questions. And have a great week. We're entering week 3, which is kind of that center section, 3, 4, and 5, center section of the course. And I think we're coming along, but I want to make sure that folks stay the course and continue to add to your research skills as you move through Moody, being able to not just have a personal opinion, but have a well-founded personal opinion is essential. So have a great day and a great week, and I'll talk